Hello, once again on this evening as the 2 weeks passed, new time began in the UK. In the meantime, a lot of deaths. On this occasion, in the meantime, because of these rules of a lockdown, quite a number of people abide by the rules, and quite a number of people will just ignore. And this is simply a human behavior, and that whenever something happens or whenever somebody asks to do, then we do not want to do. Eric Berne, the psychologist, once wrote the so-called transactional analysis of a human behavior, said that there are 4 attitudes that condition a man's conduct, and which is says, I am okay and you are not okay. So basically there are quite a number of people think that I am not well, so why should I care about it, and go on carelessly spreading it. So the examples we have seen in the past, when someone has got the HIV AIDS, and then rather than just infecting himself or herself out of anger, just goes on and spreads all around. So that's simply the first attitude, so-called the I am not okay, so you are not too. And which obviously there are some examples as well, that there are quite a number of people, when they realize that they have got the virus and not caring about it, and went on traveling from one place to another. As a result, it spread quite significantly. So that is the first attitude, or so-called I am not okay, you are not okay too. And the second, there are certain people, those who have a attitude of so-called I am not okay, but you are okay. So there is a positiveness in there, that I am not okay, so I want you to be safe. So in this case, particularly self-isolating is part of this practice. Sometimes you do not know you have it or not, but other times you do have certain example, like some nurses or doctors, those who have got the virus, and then having seen the virus in them, they keep themselves safe in order to keep safe others. So that is called I am not okay, but I will try my best to keep you okay. So remember that self-isolating is a very important part of this practice. I am not okay, but I care you, so you should be okay. But in the meantime, other times, I am okay, you're not okay. Yeah? And this is, again, we haven't got the virus, but there are a number of people, and a significant number of people have got the virus. And so that is also not okay. So feeling of compassion, feeling of sorry for them, and feeling of sad that they are having this virus and facing this critical condition. And in this case, you're sending this love, sending this compassion and loving kindness, hoping and wishing them to be well and happy. And the last category that Eric said was, I am okay, you are okay too. And this is the last big one, which is very important. that we keep ourselves safe and then keep others safe too. And this is the greatest one that we have to develop in us. Yeah? That we try to keep ourselves isolating and living at home, and in the meantime hoping that you also stay at home so we both can be okay each other. So this is the view that given by so-called psychologist Eric Berne. So-called, this is the theory that he developed called the transaction analysis in psychology, so-called a psychoanalytical technique about the human beings. And this quite correlates to the teachings of the Buddha from Anguttara Nikaya, which is the teachings that Buddha gave about 2,600 years ago. The teachings, Buddha call it the 4 types of human beings. Basically, Buddha is telling that there are 4 types of human beings, or 4 kinds of a person to be found in the world. And the sutta reads like this. It says, monks, these 4 kinds of a person are to be found existing in the world. Which 4? One who is engaged in promoting neither his own good nor in promoting the good of another. One who is engaged in promoting another's good but not in promoting his own good. One who is engaged in promoting his own good but not in promoting the good of another. And one who is engaged in promoting his own good and also in promoting the good of others. So these are the 4 types or 4 kinds of a person that Buddha mentioned in this sutta. And this is, there are people who's engaging, promoting basically no good for both himself and then the others. And there are person who's promoting good for himself but not to the others. And they are promoting good for themselves and then not good for them but good for others. The last one is good for both. Okay? And Buddha further on says that just as a piece of wood from a pyre burnt at both ends and in the middle filled with dung serves neither for fuel in the village nor for timber in the forest, so in the same way monks is such a person, I say, who is engaged in promoting neither his own good nor in promoting the good of another. And this example is so beautiful. So both ends of the wood been burnt, and in the middle again there are so much dung. So you cannot use for both. You cannot use it for burning, or you cannot use it for the timber and other works. So that's why this kind of a first category, first type of a person that we can find in the world too. And they're basically complaining about things, and then meantime not complaining towards the good of any others. Only bad things about themselves and then to the others. And the Buddha further says there is the person who is engaged in promoting the good of another but not in promoting his own good. For these 2 individuals, the latter is superior. So now Buddha is saying that the second stage, one who is not promoting good of another but promoting themselves, better than not promoting both sides. Further, there is the person who is engaged in promoting his own good but not in promoting the good of another. Of these 3 individuals, he is the superior. And now here again Buddha is saying that it is not just that you are promoting good of others, okay, promoting good of others but not promoting good of yourself. And that is even better than you're not promoting good of others and then not good of yourself too. So the third category is you are promoting your own welfare and happiness. So in this case, you're isolating yourself, living in this room, in your house. So you're looking after your well-being and keeping yourself safe from this virus. And you're not worrying about who people are doing what. In this case, it's even better than you're caring about others, but you are not keeping yourself. So you worry about other people, but you didn't stay, or you don't stay in your house. You just wander off, thinking of this and that person. In this case, like you want to visit your grandparents, your friends. And that's again, you worry about them, you care about them, but you are not caring about yourself. And that is categorized into the second stage, second kinds of a person. But if you are looking after yourself and not worrying about them, letting them look after themselves, so it seems like a little bit of a selfish here, but this selfishness, that is the best thing to protect yourself and then to others too. So keeping yourself or staying at home, isolating yourself at home and not visiting anyone is the third category. Okay, third kinds of a person, and that's the one who is looking after or looking after their own benefit than thinking of somebody else. So this is the third category, which is better than the initial two. Of these three, so that's why Buddha said that this is the superior. And then Buddha further says, there is the person who is engaged in promoting his own good and also in promoting another's good. Of these four individuals, he is the foremost, the chief, the principal, the best, and the supreme. And here, Buddha is simply telling that it is not just looking after ourselves. It is not just taking care of ourselves. We are not just staying at home, but similarly, in the meantime, we are also encouraging other people to look after themselves, look after their well-being, and then encouraging them not to go out from the house, not to go out, and then associating, socializing with other people. So encouraging them to maintain the rules, to stay at home. So this is the fourth category that Buddha is saying, simply that correlates with the psychologist. So I have mentioned in early on, Eric, saying that I am okay, you are okay too. And the Buddha further gave this simile that just as monks from a cow comes milk, from milk curd, from curd butter, from butter ghee, from ghee the skimming of ghee, and then that is reckoned the best. Even so, monks, among these four individuals, the person who is engaged in promoting his own good and also the good of another is the foremost, the chief, the principal, the best, and the supreme. Monks, these are the four individuals who are to be found existing in the world. So this is what the Buddha was talking about, that there are four types of a person. It's like a completely skimming of a ghee, the best of the best from the milk that we got. So from the milk, it becomes a curd. From the curd, it becomes a butter. From the butter, it becomes a ghee. And from the ghee, the skimming of a ghee, which is the finest part of the milk. And that's the best one. And in the same time, we have to generate this mental or this mindset that it's not okay. Okay, it's not okay not to look after ourselves. Okay, and then it's not okay not caring about others. Right? And then also, it's not just like we are not looking after or not thinking of our well-being, but looking after or caring about others. And then again, we have to look after both sides. So that's why Eric said, I am okay, you are okay too. And the Buddha said, okay, what the Buddha said was, who promotes the good of oneself and then to others. In this pandemic and a crisis, we are facing such a great crisis, and everybody worries about it, and then there is a confusion of what to do, what not to do. So from this discourse, what the Buddha mentioned about the 4 types of a person, I think it clearly indicates or teaches us that first, at least look after yourself. Okay? Look after yourself, take care of yourself, and that simply you can do by staying at home, not worrying about anybody else. But the best and the superior and supreme act that you can do is stay home and encourage other people to stay home too. In the meantime, looking after yourself and then looking after others too. So that's the last bit which Buddha said, it's like a skimming ghee, the finest part of the milk that we will be getting it. So in this practice, so promoting good of yourself and then good of others. So that is the teachings of the Buddha from the Anguttara Nikaya, okay, and the sutta called the Cawalata Sutta, yeah, it's from the Anguttara Nikaya. So with this, I wish you all the best. May you keep safe, happy, free from all anxieties, and free from all the worries, and particularly may you be free from this virus and ability to keep safe, healthy and wealthy. And in a few moments we will do the chanting, and after the chanting we will do the meditation. So I would like to invite you to do the chanting, at least of a 15 minutes of a chanting, and then a practice of a meditation. And a practice of a meditation, again, you don't have to think of anything, you don't have to worry about anything. Simply sit down comfortably, leave all the devices, free from all the disturbances, and it's particularly free from the news about the virus, and then sit down comfortably, close your eyes, watch your breath. You may count your breath for a couple of times, at least for 5, and then again you remember to count again from the 1 to 6, continue like this up to 9, and then just bring your mind present moment here and now, observing the body present, observing what's happening in your body, observing what's going on in your thoughts, in your feelings, and then quietly sitting, observing, and maintaining your calmness and peace. So with this, I stop here, and may you be happy, peaceful, and successful. May you be safe, free from troubles of body and mind. May you be liberated.